welcome back to
Bunso
Bites.
Bites.
I'm your host, Ami43.
And I'm your co-host, Chiggy.
And we're Pokemon themed today.
Yeah, buddy.
We decided to put on our Pokemon shirts, our favorite Pokemon shirts. And and we're also holding on to some of our favorite plushies. All of our plushies are our favorite, but some of our favorites. This guy. This sweet little boy. But before we get into it, because we are on theme, but before we get into it, weekly update. Anything fun happened for you this week, Chicky?
Anything fun this week? No.
Yeah.
But we are in preparation of attending the next convention.
Yeah.
Which will be Tidewater Comic Con at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And so I have a buddy that's been bugging me to go to card shows ever since he started collecting WWE cards again.
Yes.
So he's a big wrestling fan, and so he started getting into WWE tops, and he's been bugging me to go to card shows ever since. There have been a couple of local ones that I've missed, ones that appear every like 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
And so those card shows, they're hosted by 757 Card Shows. There was one at the Field House that I missed. And then, of course, the one that's the Pembroke Bingo Hall.
Yeah.
I think the Bingo Hall is coming up this month. And I might go to it. I really don't like the smell of that place.
It is a very old school, like, people can smoke inside the building.
Yeah.
Bingo hall, but we've gone there a couple times, both with that friend and without. What are your thoughts on, I mean, just generally in our area, the card scene? Like, I think we're very fortunate that we have a pretty decent, like, group of people, like, or let me not say group of people, because that sounds like it's small. It's like, it's pretty well dispersed, I feel like, in the 757. There's a pretty good amount of people.
Yeah. There are a bunch of card collectors here in the area. It's not really concentrated on one type of product.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's just the amalgamation of sports cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, Magic,
One Piece
Lorcana.
is popping off. I feel like look, I love Disney. I love Lorcana and the art. I love it so much. But I feel like One Piece is popping off in a way that Lorcana just didn't. And I don't know if that's because from the beginning it never felt like Lorcana was a game to play. From the beginning it felt like Lorcana was a game to collect. More so. And I'm not saying there are people out there who play Lorcana. Love that for you. Truly, I do. And I feel sorry because trying to collect those cards and making decks cannot be fun with how, like, crazy the market can be. But with One Piece, like, the community is so, like, kind and inclusive, and no one is trying to, like, ruin it for anyone else. I mean, of course, with everything, there's always going to be resellers. Like, that's just part of the business. But, like, there are resellers, you know, there's kind of like an understanding of, like, yeah, there are resellers, but then at the same time it's like with One Piece, I feel like there's just people who genuinely love the game and they love that anime, and it's like it's been taking off. We have friends who, like, legitimately play the game and they're like into it, and I love that for them. I think it's amazing. So yeah, no, that's cool. Yes, we are getting ready getting ready, it's on the calendar. Have I started my cosplay? Absolutely not. But it shouldn't be too difficult because I have 2 of the 4 pieces already. So I just need to get the other 2. I don't think I'm going to do wig. I just don't think I can do it in, like, Virginia summer. But we'll get the vibe. And I think the vibe will be fine. I'm hoping. So we'll see. And even if I don't cosplay, even if it's just for funsies or whatever, that's totally fine too. But because I have the EV backpack and we had talked about it in a previous episode, I would really love to be able to cosplay as Penny. So we'll see how that goes. Updates to come. No promises. No promises, y'all. Because I am a very busy lady. Genuinely.
Very nice. So that was my update for the week. What about you?
Nothing crazy. but your girl got a Nintendo Switch too.
Hey, that's crazy. What are you talking about?
It was okay. I cannot speak for anyone else's experiences because I've heard nightmares stories and I've heard people are just like, no, I just walked to Target and got it. Like, I've heard both spectrums. So I can only imagine it is solely specific to where you live and your accessibility to whatever retailers you have in your area. For me, what happened was halfway through my day, I get a text from my brother in our family chat. He's like, hey, I got a Switch too. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, the boys forgot to bring a brush. And so I went to Target to get a brush. I stood in line and I was third in line for like 90 minutes. And then they gave me a Nintendo Switch too. And I was like, oh, that's so great. Also, you're not in the office right now. I was working in the office when he texted me. Right. This is probably 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock. Like Target had just opened where he was. And I was like, well, I don't have that luxury. And I was like, all right, so what can I do? At this point, Jiggy and I did not like full on discuss if we had a game plan for it. We did not pre-order. We were not that prepared. But we knew that we wanted one. It was just kind of like if we get one type of thing. Like we never sat down and had a discussion of if we had a game plan or not. So while I was at the office, during my lunch break, I called the GameStop that's by my office, which I had visited the GameStop before trying to get Pokemon cards unsuccessfully. But it was, I was just trying because they open at 12 and I could take my lunch and literally skedaddle over and check. So when they opened at 12, I just called and was like, hey, do you guys have any Switch 2s? And they're like, no, we sold out because a lot of our local stores or GameStops opened at midnight for the midnight release. Excuse me. A lot of our local GameStops opened for the midnight release, so a lot of them were out because everyone bought it at midnight. I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna be like figuring it out. Maybe I'll have luck at a Walmart or a Target. I don't know. I proceed to then get off work. On the way home from work, there are 3 GameStops. And so I was like, let me just call and see. Because there's no harm in calling. Genuinely, I was just like, there's no harm in calling. Call the first one. No, we're out. Okay, call the second one. We're out because we opened at midnight. Oh, thank you. And I'm trying to keep this short because I don't want to bother them. Like, I know that they've probably had a long night. Like, these are probably the same people who worked at midnight. I was just trying to be as kind and as concise as possible. And I said, oh, okay, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. And as I was saying goodbye, and Chiggy knows this because I normally am like, I'll say goodbye and I hang up before the other person says goodbye.
Yep.
But he said, wait. And he stopped me. And I was like, yes? Like, I was confused. I was like, what? Yes? And he said, if you're looking for one, I suggest going to the one in Virginia Beach. And I was like, which one in Virginia Beach? Because in my head, I knew that there were 3. And I'm sure there are more. There was 3 in my head because I was thinking again. I'm like en route on the way home. He's like, I suggest you try the one that's at the mall. And I said, Lynnhaven.
Keep talking.
Do you have to do that in the middle of me talking?
Yes, I got tired of holding the mic.
So he said the Virginia Beach location. And I said, which one? He said, the one at the mall. And I said, Lynnhaven Mall. He said, yes, that one. Because they didn't open at midnight. He's like, they opened this morning. And I know that the mall, generally, they kind of get fuller stock. At least in comparison to like a standalone store. So I was like, I guess I'll try. Called once. Straight to voicemail. Like, not even ring, just straight to voicemail. Called twice, it rang, but then it went to voicemail. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll just figure this out. I happened to be exiting off of one of the state roads onto the road that goes home. But then I was like, let me reroute to see the fastest way to get to the mall. Because I was taking back roads, but I was like, it was still early enough that I was like, I might be able to beat the afternoon traffic. So I rerouted and my GPS said the highway would be faster. So I just exited and I was on another road and I was like, oh, I can exit right here. So I literally did like a circle. But I exited onto like the highway, like the interstate highway. And then once I got into the highway, I was like, I don't even know if there's any at the store. I'm just going. And I was like, let me call one more time. I called one more time. shout out to Haley at the Lynn Haven Mall GameStop, because she answered and she was the kindest and sweetest and most like genuinely like sweet person. So I was like, hi, I was wondering if you guys have any Nintendo Switch 2s, because I kind of got a tip from another GameStop that you guys might have stock. And she said, yes, we do. And I was like, oh, lovely. Okay. Can you like hold on to one for me? Like, I'm literally on the way there. My GPS says I'll be there in like 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, you'll be fine. And I was like, you have that? Are you sure? Like, me thinking like these things are flying off the shelves. She's like, no worries. And if we get low, I know that you're on the way, so I'll make sure that you're okay. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. And then she was just like, please, she's like, make sure you drive safe. And by the time we hung up, I was like, okay, my GPS says 15 minutes now, so I'll be there in 15 minutes. She said, okay. Hung up the phone, go straight to the mall. And, I was freaking out because I was, when you're in a hurry, I was like trying to park. And then, of course, someone cuts me off and gets my parking spot, so then I had to go further down. And then, I'm power walk running in my work clothes to the mall. Like, please be there, please be there. I walk in, and when I tell you, this GameStop was, ready. Like, they were ready. They had 2 associates on the floor, 4 associates behind the counter working the registers, 1 manager, and 1 runner. Like, I was like, they were stacked, and they were ready. So I literally get in, and it's chaos, but also, not chaos. Like, there's a lot of things happening. Everyone's trying to get the Switch 2, but everyone's also calm. I was like, this is great. So then I get in line, and I'm literally first in line, but there's 4 people in front of me. And I'm kind of, looking, because no one approached me or asked me if, what I clearly did not shop for anything. I just went straight in line, because I was like, Nintendo Switch 2, and, because the two people in the store were helping other customers, and I was just I'm hoping and praying that okay, well, hopefully by the time I get to the counter, it wasn't the last person in front of me got the last one or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not on the shelves or anything, I'm just kind of hoping and praying it's behind the counter.
Right.
So they go, or there's 4 people in front of me, and then 1 goes, but then the manager or something, they start talking. And I was like, okay, not that person. And then the second person, who's right in front of me, goes. And she's like, next. So then I go up to her. I was like, hi, 1 Nintendo Switch 2, please. And she says, okay. And then proceeds. I didn't even see the product at this point. She just proceeds to open this giant binder and is scanning stuff. Do you want the warranty? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you have a GameStop number? This is that. She's asking me all these questions. Still don't know where the product is. I'm just answering like a robot. I'm sure I looked absolutely neurotic. No doubt about it. And then the next thing I know, the runner from the back goes to get one from me, and then they bring it back, and she's like, ta-da! And I was like, oh, it's there! And then, I pay for it, and then she hands it to me. She's like, have fun! And I said, okay! And then I walk out of the store, and I'm just like, okay! And I'm holding this Switch, and I'm like, what do I do now? I guess I go home, but also, I'm at the mall. What am I doing? I was so shocked that it happened so mechanically and so quickly for me that it was just in, out, done. I was like, oh, and I have this thing now. And so I get back in the car finally, and then on the way home, you called me.
Mm-hmm.
And was I in the parking lot, or did I had just pulled up to the house? I know I was parked.
You were parked.
Yeah, I was parked. And so Chiggy called me on our afternoon call when he gets off of work. And we were just talking. And then, do you remember, you asked about the Nintendo Switch 2, but I don't remember exactly what you asked. Did you say, did you get one? Or?
Oh, I was asking you, did you did you have a chance to look at any places that had the Switch?
Oh, yeah. And so, and at this point, I was like, okay, can I FaceTime you real quick or something like that? So I FaceTimed him, and I propped my phone on my steering wheel right in front of me. And I'm just sitting there like this. And then Chiggy gets on FaceTime, and then I just go into my passenger seat, and then I pull it into the Switch, and I was like, ta-da! I was like, ta-da! It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. Again, shout out that GameStop at Lynn Haven Mall. Y'all planned and were ready for the Nintendo Switch 2 release. You guys were the most efficient, but genuinely the most kind. They were so sweet. Very, very kind. So that was fun, and we've been playing Mario Kart World since we got it. It's been a lot of fun. I won't do like a full review because we just had it for like a couple days. Like I'm still relishing in the new shiny thing. Maybe in our next update we'll do like a full rundown of our thoughts on the Switch too. But so far enjoying playing, enjoying the game for sure.
Of course.
That was a really long update. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to share my experience because I know, like I said, everyone had such a different experience. Like for some people, they had to wait 90 minutes, like my brother. Me, I walked into the store and I picked one up and left. Some people were waiting in line from 9 p.m. until midnight. Like they were doing everything. So to those of you who wanted to get it, I hope you got a Nintendo Switch 2. If you did not and you weren't able to due to the availability in your area, I hope that restock comes soon and you can have one soon. So yeah, we got it. We got it, and I'm so excited. We have it. Yay. Anyways, back to the actual podcast topic. As we said at the top of the episode, we are themed and we are ready to talk about our favorite thing,
Pokemon.
So we love Pokemon, and actually I did not think of the timing of this at all. We probably should have done your update second because it ties into our topic.
It's okay.
We wanted to talk about TCG, or the Pokemon card game.
Yes. And so back in the day.
Back in the day.
When Pokemon TCG first came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
I started collecting it when it first came out.
Yep.
And, I got my hands on a couple of packs of the base set.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back then in the 90s, there was I think the place was called Movie Time.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 90s. It was here in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And it was like a Blockbuster where you can like rent games and movies.
Sure.
And I remember they had a booster box, an open booster box sitting on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And they had it priced at $10.49. No. $9.79, I think.
Okay. For the whole booster pack?
No, just for one pack.
Packs. Okay.
One pack. $9.79. And me thinking, I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Should I buy it? And back then, I didn't know what the price of a pack really went for.
Sure.
Maybe.
How would
Maybe it was like $3 or $4, but they definitely made their dime selling it at $9. And so I bought,
pack, that's what.
I think I bought maybe 5 packs from there.
Okay.
And so in total, I spent $50
$50
over the course of 5 weeks.
Sheesh.
And I remember pulling my first holo.
Ooh.
It was a Nidoking.
Ooh,
and I was like, ooh, he's cool looking.
Yeah.
And like I would spend my days bringing those cards to school.
Aww.
And just like studying the artwork and all the text on the cards and just admiring them.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it to school, and during one of those times I went up and went to the bathroom and my cards got stolen.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep. So I had like maybe 4 or 5 binder pages of cards.
Uh-huh.
And then when I came back from the bathroom and opened up the binder, there's only 1 page. I was like, man.
I would be so upset.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Did you report it?
No. Because it was like, you're not supposed to have it at school anyways. Yeah. And so I was like, okay.
That's wild.
I understand. And so.
Lesson learned.
Yep. Lesson learned. Never brought my cards to school again.
Yeah.
And then, continued to collect. But yeah, that was my beginning with Pokemon TCG.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start a collection when it first came out?
I got the pretty cards that my brother let me have. So I would get like the Jigglypuff and the Oddish and the the cute ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like my brother got packs or if he just kind of like got some cards and then started trading. Eventually we had a binder. I'm pretty sure we had a relatively complete set. Maybe not like complete as in all the holos, all the whatever, but we had I'm pretty sure we had at least majority of the 151, just kind of standard. I don't know. It was one of those things that like I remember liking Pokemon. I remember that in my head it was always like we have cards.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, they were my brother's cards, and he would just let me look at them because I didn't know how to play the game.
Yeah.
That being said, I do have a very distinct memory, and I don't know if this is something that you experienced also, because it was here at the Virginia Beach Chapel, but I remember us playing Pokemon in the function hall, like as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't playing it for real, because I know for a fact we didn't know how to play, because we weren't using energy, so I knew that we were not, like, we were not playing legitimately, but we were just kind of like, oh, my card does this damage, bah, 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 bah. Like, mm-hmm. It was kids play, genuinely. And again, I know it was my brother's cards, and I would borrow them, and I would always get the pretty ones, but that was kind of all I remember pretty much up until you and I started collecting. And by you and I, you collect, and I look at the pretty cards. You know, it's definitely been, TCG as a whole has changed, because it went from innocent childhood, you know, playing and collecting and like genuinely trading with your friends. I don't think it's like that anymore. But it's definitely evolved as a collection, as a game, as a following, so to speak. But I do remember having memories of like looking at, like you said, looking at the old artwork and reading what the moves did, and I know, at least for me, like tying that to, because I would watch the anime as well. Like I was watching it on TV and like putting it together. Like, oh, Bulbasaur can use Vine Whip. Oh, I saw him do that in the episode of what, like, and it all was interconnected, and that felt really, really cool, and it felt like you knew what was going on, like you were part of it. So, yeah, it was. I do have positive memories, albeit I was never the collector, so to speak.
And I don't think we ever connected when we were young back then with Pokemon TCG.
Sure.
But I do remember us playing a version of that with the cards. Just with, in our cases, because we were the collectors, all of our rare cards, all of our holos we would battle with.
Yeah, no.
And
me and the girls were just playing with the throwaway cards. And I'm being very general, but me and the girls, it was like me and my little friends. Like there was probably like 5 of us.
But like you said earlier, we didn't know how to play the actual TCG.
Yeah. None of us did. Yeah, we were just, this move does 50 plus damage. Ooh.
Yeah, basically. And, you know, we had our fun with it. And I'm pretty sure back then, when it was just base set, I never had the complete set, but between myself, your brother, and our mutual set of friends, we would have a complete set.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
If we all collected as one, it would have been a complete, including all the rares. Yeah.
And I remember one of my friends, he had the big 3.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that everyone wanted.
Of course.
And that was the only 3 cards I was missing.
I know.
I was like, I'll trade you all of my cards for that.
Just for those. Wild, dude.
Yeah. But I fell out of collecting Pokemon TCG maybe right during the Team Rocket series.
Okay.
And so I stopped collecting, and then I had a friend who came here. He was in the military. He collected. He also played Yu-Gi-Oh! At the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you know, you can look through my cards if you want, and you can take them. And then, you know, he looked through them. He was like, bro, all these cards look cool. Can I have them? I was like, sure, go ahead, take them. Yeah. Me not thinking.
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, go ahead, dude.
So he had a bunch of fun with it. He kept all my cards. He probably sold it off by now because they definitely appreciated in value. And yeah, I never saw Pokemon cards again until the pandemic. And so during the pandemic, I found a bunch of streamers on Twitch, and it was just a new and fascinating thing that I saw, and they were called Pokemon Rippers.
Yeah.
And so they would literally just have an online store open, and whatever anyone bought, they would open up on their stream, so everyone can see what they bought, what hits they got, and then if they would like it, they could have those cards shipped to them. And so I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, hey, I haven't seen any of these new Pokemon as Pokemon cards since I first started collecting.
So many generations have passed.
Yeah. And then I remember they were doing giveaways, and they're like, all right, we're going to do a giveaway for this base set card. And I was like, that's a common card.
I know.
I know that's a common card. But everyone else in the chat, they were popping off. They're like, oh my gosh, base set.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you guys so excited about?
So old.
And so, I'd watch these streams and I'm working. And slowly I got back into collecting Pokemon cards.
Yep.
And at the time when I got back into it, it was the Sword and Shield era. And it was on the Battle Styles set.
Yeah, I remember.
And so...
because we were drowning in Battle Styles.
Yeah.
Chiggy went off.
Yes, I did. And so I was like, I want to buy some cards.
He said, collect all of them.
Yep. And so I saved up a paycheck, and I was like, I'm going to go hard on this. And found some cards off of TCG Player. And I was like, oh, the retail price is $100. But as I followed it week by week, the price dropped from 100 down to 80 something.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm pulling the trigger now.
Yeah.
Because I can get these 6 for under $500. And so I pulled the trigger. I got 6 booster boxes. That's 36 packs in a booster box. So it was 216 packs total.
We were drowning in battle. When I tell you we were drowning in Battle Styles. And I even remember we did a live of opening on but it was on our personal account. It wasn't on.
Yeah.
This is pre even idea of Bunso Bites, y'all.
Right.
And it was wild. It was wild, but it was so fun because I feel there was this nostalgia to it, obviously, because you and I have had previous experiences, and obviously we are OG. I like to think OG Pokemon fans. We've liked Pokemon from the beginning. We were very fortunate that Pokemon was part of our childhood, but also this novelty of that suspense of opening packs. Oh, it's an addiction. Truly an addiction, because you're just like, am I going to get the hit? Am I going to get the hit? And it cuts to a point where you're like, it's an itch. You want to open packs over and over and over again. And as Shiggy said, he went off. It was insane. We were going through Battle Styles for all those packs. It was wild.
And yeah, so I got through those 6 booster packs, and I opened all 216 packs, or we opened 216 packs.
Yes, I got to open them too.
And I checked with the database of what the entire set was, and through those 216 packs, I was still short 20 plus cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we keep on going. And so I'd tune into these streams of these live pack openings, and I'd just listen to it when I'm working, and when I heard of a card that I needed,
that you knew it was
I'll be like, oh, okay, can I trade you for it? And I'd message in the chat, and some people, they'd be like, okay, sure, what you got? And some people would be like, no, I'm keeping it for myself or whatever. And so it cut down on a couple of the cards that I needed to get.
Sure.
And then it came all the way down to the last couple of cards, maybe the last 5. And I was just like, I've opened up too many packs already now. Because I continued to buy packs.
Right.
And I was just like, man, I'm spending too much money on just trying to get these last 5 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just buy these cards?
Individually, yeah.
And yes, you can.
Yep.
And it took me a while just to figure that out. And so, of course, I was missing the chase card in that set, which was the Sleeping Tyranitar V, alt art, and maybe a couple of the alternate art cards. And so I bought them all individually from TCG Player.
Lovely.
And I was like, okay, I finally mastered the set, which means you have a copy of every single card in the set, whether it be holofoiled and non-holofoiled. And so every iteration of that card in the set was laid out in a binder.
Yep.
And I was so proud of myself.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I finally completed and mastered this set. And then while that was happening, there would be a new set every 2 to 3 months.
I was about to say, like, while you were finishing this, there was like at least another 2 or 3 versions that came out during this process.
Yeah. And so during that time, I was like, okay, I'm still trying to complete Battle Styles, but then Chilling Reign came out. I was like, oh, these cards look even better. And then
some of the Chilling Reign art is actually really good. Yeah.
And then the set right after that was the big set.
Which one?
Evolution Skies.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That set hit hard.
It did.
But
and everyone wanted it.
I couldn't pull anything to save my life.
Yeah. Pull's not great, or the pull percentage on that is not great.
Yep. And so, I continued to collect packs here and there. But I was like, man, this is really taking a toll on my wallet.
Yep.
So I would start to cut down on buying packs. And,
right.
I just get a pack, once every 2 paychecks or something. And we would have consistent buys. And, whenever we went to Target, you buy like a whatever set that dropped in Target that I didn't have. We'd pick that up.
Right. We're also really lucky that our local Target, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're the best stocked, but they're pretty decently stocked. Like, we were never necessarily without.
Right.
Definitely on, like, Evolution and some of the other ones, it's a little bit harder. But, like, we always were able to get at least if not a full-on booster pack, like the little 6-pack booster bundles, or, like, a couple of what are the flat lay ones where it's, like, 3 or 4 packs, or... or we were always able to get even the promo ones, like the specific Pokemon promos. So yeah, we're really lucky that our local Target definitely has some stock, which is nice. Yeah.
And I think the one set that we both were like, ooh. We have to master this set. It was the 25th anniversary. And that set had the base set cards. Yeah. The big 3, the Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise. And I was like, I've actually never pulled these in my
real
entire life.
Yeah.
And so getting that chance again to pull those big 3 was such a thrill.
It was. And it was the perfect blend of nostalgia but it was like modern, and the cards were so nice because it was the art, and it was really, really good.
Yep. And so I bought a bunch of 25th anniversary.
We had so many Alakazam packs.
No, that's 151.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed it up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
25th was the
Pikachu.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
And so we opened up that set, and I pulled a bunch of Venusaurs.
Yes, we had so many Venusaurs. We had a couple Blastoise.
Yeah, a couple Blastoise, but we couldn't pull the Charizard.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, the last chance at it was getting this Ultra Premium Collection box.
UPC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
For 151, and I was like, okay.
It was the white and black box.
Yep. And this thing, it retailed for like, I think it was 90. Right? Yeah. It was either 90 or 120, and it was being sold for like 200 at that time.
Okay, yeah.
If you couldn't get it at retail.
Oh, and actually, I do remember. I think I went to California at one point in this process because I had found one and I showed it to you, and it was being sold for about 200.
Yeah.
And you were just like, no.
That's too much.
Also, there was no way for me to actually bring it home other than like carry it on the plane.
Right.
But it was the thought that counts, right? I was FaceTiming him. Yeah, thought that counts.
Yeah. So I was able to get my hands on one box.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is our last chance of pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it finally came to the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's separate it half and half.
Yeah.
And let's start opening these packs. And
I also want to preface, like, Chiggy and I, at this point, we kind of had a system down whenever we had, like, bigger pack openings. Like, we had multiple packs. Like, we would organize everything, and then, you know, we would disseminate each pack, and I would do it based on art, and he would organize the cardboard. Like, we had it down to a system. And I remember when we were doing this, the air felt a little heavier. Like, it was just a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we kind of knew, we're just like, if it doesn't happen here, it's not going to happen.
Right.
We didn't know what else to do.
And so I think there were maybe 17 packs.
Yeah.
Something. But we divided it in half, and there was one pack left over. And I think I had opened up all my packs already.
You were faster than me, yeah.
And I was like, I didn't get anything. And you, during, I think my last pack.
You were finishing your last pack, and I was going through mine.
Yeah.
Piece
And
by piece.
you're going through yours, and you had just stopped. And I was like, what? What's wrong? And you just didn't move or anything. And then you just looked up. You were like, I'm like, what? Say something.
You don't even cry. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering the moment.
And then you slowly turned it around. And you showed me the charge, and I was like,
He also tackled me, and
Yes.
we were like crying, hugging, like look, I'm actually crying just remembering it. Like, we were so ecstatic about it. We were so excited because it was just like, for it to literally happen at the very, very end, and we were just like, yeah, it was like, got the Charizard.
yeah.
You literally went, yeah. That's exactly what you did. And just full on tackled me, and I was like, don't bet the card.
But yeah, that was such a thrilling experience to finally pull that base set Charizard.
Yeah.
Even though it's the 25th anniversary card, it's still
the
base
Charizard. Yeah.
So that was very exciting for me. I don't know about you, but
clearly. Oh man.
But that was just such a thrill.
Yeah.
I know I pulled the Shining Fates Charizard before that.
Yes.
Which was actually my first Charizard ever. But yeah, that 25th anniversary Charizard was my second.
And it just hit different.
Oh yeah, because it was nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then, I was able to pull the one from Paldean Fates.
Which one's that one?
That one was the black one.
Oh yeah.
So it's also another shiny Charizard, but we pulled that during a power outage.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a fourth Charizard, which is the original base Charizard.
Yeah.
But it's all scratched up.
It's not the best quality. But we do have, I say we, Chiggy technically does own the full base set 151.
Yeah. Just the complete set. So I have a copy of each card, but not a first edition copy of each card.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So good times. But one thing I really wanted to talk about is the state of Pokemon TCG now. Because I know when we first started getting back into collecting Pokemon cards, it was readily available everywhere.
Yeah. We could just walk into any store and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. And it was like fully stocked at Target, Walmart, GameStop, Barnes & Noble. You can get it anywhere. And they did not have like a shortage of it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, now that we have a bunch of scalpers,
Vastly different.
it's barren. Shelves are empty. And like you see the stickers are there, but there's no stock.
Yeah.
And it could be the day of they get it stocked and they're already out.
Oh yeah, people are waiting for the stock. Like they'll literally follow from the stock room, follow the cart with they know that the box is in, and then like they're just waiting for the person to put it on the shelf and then they'll grab it. Like that's how quick it is.
Yeah. And so just trying to get your hands on anything nowadays is almost impossible.
Well, it's a struggle, and you have to do your homework and all that stuff, because I mean, yeah, there are ways around it. Like sometimes you can pre-order, sometimes you can order online. Like there are certain things, but just if you were just trying to run of the mill, just pick up a pack somewhere, it's really not that simple. And as Chiggy said, the shelves are barren. So, for example, when I went to North Carolina, we went to a card shop with my friends with our friends down there, and the new friends that I made. And I FaceTimed you, and I was like, "Hey, do you want this?" And it was just not anything that we need.
Right.
And that happens a lot. I will call Chiggy when I'm out and about. Doesn't have to necessarily be when I'm out of town, but just if I happen to be at a Target, at a Walmart, if I see any stock, I kind of will either send a picture to Chiggy or I'll call him and just be like, "Do we need? Is this important?"
Yeah, and the item that Ami was trying to show me was a Prismatic Evolution surprise box.
It was a box of,
Yeah, it's a surprise box. And it was selling for 60, but I think the retail was at least 40, if not 30.
Or 45, yeah. Something like that.
So I was like, that's like at least a 50% markup. So no, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what other stock did you see over there?
That was it for like any kind of boxy bundle booster situation. I want to say they might have had. No, they didn't. They only had Lorcana packs. Beyond that, I didn't even see a single like any singular or solo packs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went around the corner and they had One Piece and Magic and something else, because like the store was kind of a L shape.
Okay.
So yeah, that was it, I think, for the Pokemon stuff. I will say this card store also like very, very main heavies, like bulk, and like you have to sift through, and then they obviously have the clear counters where you can pick and choose whatever rares or ultra rares or SIRs or whatever, to your choosing. Our friends traded in a couple cards and then got store credit to purchase some other ones. I want to say they're collecting all the evolutions, but they're not trying to collect like the chases. They're just trying to get one of each.
Got you.
I know our friend, she picked and it was actually a pack opening. She opened the alt Leafeon, I want to say it was.
Okay.
Alt Art Leafeon.
Nice.
That was her, yeah. And then after that, they kind of got the itch and they wanted to complete the evolutions.
Okay.
She said that they haven't had any luck with getting any Master Balls. They've gotten a couple Pokeballs. I don't know the specifics.
You're talking about Japanese sets.
Well, on that case, yes. I want to say the Leafeon chase was English, I think.
Okay.
They don't really care about the language part of it, but they just kind of collect the cards that they want to collect.
Okay,
They're not like, they don't build sets. They just collect individual cards. And then my new friend that I made, they bought a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards actually. So, and then they bought her a deck box because she was housing her deck in a Ziploc bag. And we said, "No, you are friends with us now. We are buying you a deck box." And then the other new friend that I made that was a guy, he bought a One Piece deck box, and it was really cool because it like obviously it has like One Piece art on it, but like the way it opens up is like so fancy and cool, and I'm just like, this is next level card gaming. But again, One Piece is just popping off, and I'm like, go off. I told him, I was like, our friends play One Piece, here, so whenever you come to Hampton Roads, like, you can play with them and hang out with them. So he was really excited when I told him that. But yeah, even down in North Carolina, even when I travel, like, stock is just not great.
Right.
It's rough out there.
It's very rough out there. Like, I don't even plan to go into stores anymore to check for Pokemon because I already know how bad the state of Pokemon is at the moment. And so
at this point, it's just luck of the draw. And we only will check if we're already in the store. Like, if we're already going to stop by Target, we'll just walk by the card. We're not actively looking. We're not actively going to Target to get, Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
We'll just be like, oh, we're going to Target to pick up pizza, soup, whatever. Oh, let's swing by the Pokemon section. And even then, it's just like, we'll see a couple of packs.
Yeah.
Although, that does remind me. I don't know. You should remember this. This just happened recently. When we went to Target, and they did have stock. I don't even remember what it was stock of.
Mm-hmm.
But there was I'm showing my age. But there were a couple of teenagers. Well, okay, no, first off, in the parking lot, we get out the car. Chiggy and I are, like, in real life, I feel like we're generally quiet people. Yes. I'm loud with Chiggy, but, like, in the world, I'm very quiet. I don't like people to see me. But we get out of the car, and like I said, I think Chiggy and I, generally speaking, are on the quieter side of society. Like, we kind of just mind our own business. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get out the car, people are yelling across the parking lot. Like, there was someone kind of in front of us to the right because they were coming out of the store, and then there was someone that was passing us on the left, like they were going to their car, but like a good, like, I don't know, 5 cars distance, like there was distance between them, yelling at each other about, cursing at each other. Like, it was crazy. And Jiggy and I kind of looked at each other like, oh, I thought, like, something happened, like you see on the news and stuff, like some type of, like, racial bias, or, like, I don't know, something, like they said slurs to each other or whatever. Like, I was like, what is going on? And it's escalating like this at the parking lot. Mm-hmm. But then they kind of walked away from each other, so I was like, okay, it did not escalate. They were just screaming at each other. But then I looked at the people that was walking past us on the left, and I saw one of them had a box, like a booster bundle. And I was like, there's no way that these people are fighting about Pokemon. There's no way. And then we walk into the store, and we see there's, like, probably 3 or 4 teenagers. There was a lady and her son. And then you and I walk up. And then afterwards, there was a guy with a cart and his girlfriend / friend. Mm-hmm. But when I tell you, and like, I like to think we were all, for all intents and purposes, the 3 teenagers, the mom and her son, and then you and I, you and I, when we got there, we like almost subconsciously were like, okay, we'll just wait in line. Because the teenager boys were like looking through and trying to like pick, like, okay, well, if I get this one, I'll, they were talking amongst themselves. The mom and her son were kind of stepped back too. It looked like the son had either a booster bundle or like a couple of packs in his hand, but nothing serious. Like, but it looked like they weren't done. They were still looking.
Right.
And then Chiggy and I were standing there just kindly waiting our turn. Like, I'm not going to push these people out of the way, be like, make a decision. Like, I wasn't going to whatever, especially after what we saw in the parking lot. Like, I was like, I'm not going to start anything in my local Target. Like, absolutely not. And then, so then we were just like, okay. And then we realized kind of eventually, like, oh, okay, the 3 guys are going to get the last lunchbox tins, I think it was. Like, they were trying to divide who was getting what, which I understand. They're teenage boys. They probably don't have a job. Whatever. It's fine. But then I still kind of wanted to, like, look at, like, the single packs. Like, we hadn't left. But then the guy with a cart and his girlfriend proceed to then, if you imagine the aisle, Chiggy and I are on the right side. The shelf is on the left side. But, like, we're kind of just trying to stay out of the way. But it's very clearly, like, we're in line to look at the product. Mm-hmm. And then this guy with his cart just comes trailblazing in, like, to the point that the teenagers are like, whoa, like, they kind of stepped back a little bit because they weren't sure if the guy was going to run him over or whatever. This man currently has, like, 30 single packs in his cart. And I could see his girlfriend behind him kind of, like, trailing, like, we shouldn't be cutting in line. Like, she clearly was like, no, we're not cutting. But he blazed in front of us and started picking off even more single packs off of the shelf. And I'm looking at Chiggy, I was like, I guess we just don't, like, I say this out loud. I was like, I guess we just don't exist. And then I chose to walk away because I was like, I'm not about to get into a fight in my local Target. Yeah. I don't want to get kicked out. But it was like, there, absolutely no shame, absolutely, like, and I want to make it very clear. Our body language was not people trying to, our body language and the way we were set up, it was very, very clearly evident. We were waiting in line for our turn to look at product. We were just trying to be courteous and give space because it's an aisle and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people already. But this guy with the cart was just like, no, just try to get it, and then starts pulling packs off the shelf. I saw even the mom rolling her eyes, just like, seriously, dude, can you have some decency? Apparently not. And he already had, which that so shows to me that he went to the back first. He picked up whatever was on the shelf in the back because there was at least 20, 30 packs in his cart, which I don't even know how he's able to buy that much because I know there's a limit. But I know packs are different from the bundles and stuff. Like, but it was still just like, seriously, dude? Like, really? You had to get your product so badly that you couldn't even be courteous to others and just wait in line? Even then, at most, Chiggy and I were going to get maybe 2 packs. Because we knew, like, getting single packs isn't really worth it as much. So that we're just like, okay, we might get a single pack each just for funsies. Drop, what is it, $5.99? Okay. How much different would that have been for the guy who's in the cart trying to stack up on singles, and he's probably not even going to get a single hit anyways? Like, I hope he didn't get a hit. That's how mad I was at him. And I even remember joking with Chiggy because I was just like, oh, the teenagers are they were kind of taking their time, and I was like, they don't really have conscientiousness, or like or not conscientious, they're not like paying attention, like they were taking their sweet time, and us and the mom and son were kind of just like, okay, guys, like, we get you guys are getting the tins. Can you just move out the way so we can look at what else is left? Like, but I wasn't as mad at the teenagers as I was at that one guy who was like, I don't care. You guys are taking to whatever. I'm more important. I'm going to push my cart and I'm going to get the packs. I hope he spent $100 and didn't get a single hit. I hope he got all commons. Like, that's how much I dislike this man. Which... I got heated there. But the point being, that's like the mood around collecting right now. It's so hyper competitive. It's so me. It's causing fights in Target parking lots. We live in a suburb, y'all. Like, we don't live anywhere crazy. We live in the plainest of plain suburbs. And I got people out in my Target yelling at each other. Like, and when I mean like they're yelling, they were yelling at each other over a Pokemon bundle booster box. What? Actually, what? Like, who? Why? Whomst? I have no idea. I am unaware. I understand that we are all out here for the pulls. I get it. I want it too. I want the chases. I want the thrill of opening packs. I get it. Product is low. I get it. Whatever's happening with tariffs, I get it. It's not great. But do we need to yell at each other in a Target parking lot? I don't think so. Fam, I really don't think so. Not just that part, but it's just like, I don't think it's necessary for us to be fighting each other for it. Like, can we all just get along? Like, it sounds really lame. I know it does. I know. But, like, can we all just, like, stop for 5 seconds? I get there's businesses. I get that there's profit margins. I get that everyone's after the chase. I get it. I am the same. I'm in it too. I want to pull the chases too. I want that thrill and excitement too. We were just talking about it. That feeling of pulling the Charizard. Like, I want that feeling too. I do. But I'm not going to throw away my humanity for it. I'm not going to throw away my, acting a fool out in public for a pack? For a singular pack? Like, that's wild, unreal. I cannot. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Especially because it's not kids. It's adults. I understand kids kind of going a little cray-cray because they're children, but we're adults. We need to, theoretically, be mature enough to understand, like, hey, it's just some cards. It's just a game. Yes, we're collectors. Yes, we are fanatics. That's fine. But I'm not going to cut in front of people. I'm not going to be yelling. I'm not going to be cursing at people. Like, absolutely not. You could never find me there. No. And I'm so saddened that something that's supposed to bring us so much happiness and joy has come to this type of an apex, or this type of a just high-strung, competitive, like, it's not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the fun? Where's the fun? I mean, I say that genuinely because I know, like, especially for Chicky and I, we love Pokemon. We love it. We love it. I'm sorry, Hello Kitty, but we love Pokemon. And it's because it's joyful. It's because it's happiness. It's because it's lighthearted. At what point, why would we ever want to destroy the very thing that is the joy in our lives? With all the bad things in the world, with all the sadness and all the hardships or whatever, if I can look at a little derpy Smoliv and find joy in that, we should just leave it at that and not lose ourselves to the draw, the thrill, the hype, whatever. Like, it's supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be fun, and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's so sad that it's not fun anymore, guys. I'm just ranting out. I'm so sorry. But I genuinely feel like that moment was the epitome of, this is real. We've seen it online for so long. And for all intents and purposes, Chiggy and I have not run into too many issues other than low stock. As in, like, but this was the first time that, no, that's a lie. We've seen scalpers in the wild for sure. But this was the first time where, like, it was so evidently just like the spiritedness of it was so evident. And it was like, for a Pikachu, for an Eevee, like, come on, guys. Come on, he doesn't want you to fight. Look at that face. He wants you to friendship. He wants to be friends.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry. We did go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I just, yeah. I feel like I wish it could stop being I wish that that negative, like, fighting for it part of collecting it, of, finding your chase cards or whatever, I wish it's supposed to be lighthearted and fun, and I want it to stay that way.
Yeah. So that time we were at Target, I remember the set that was there was Journey Together.
Yes.
And I actually got my hands on some. I was actually able to pre-order it in January.
Mm-hmm.
So I had booster boxes, booster bundles, ETBs sent to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a bunch of packs to open.
Is that the one that I ordered and I got scared of ordering it? Nope. Okay. I don't remember. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of packs. We haven't opened to it.
Yeah. Haven't gotten to it.
And, that's just how it is now. If you're able to get it through Pokemon Center, which is probably the best bet at the moment right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Get your Pokemon cards through Pokemon Center. They've really limited scalping on that website.
It's become more strict, yes.
Yes, very strict, and it's actually available to everyone now to, like, order stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, like, when a set drops, it would be sold out within a minute, literally. But the last time a set was up there, it was available for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives a fair playing field for everyone else.
Yes, I agree.
And
Instead of scalpers with their bots
Yep.
and all that stuff. Yes.
Yep. So the state of Pokemon TCG is very sad. Stock is gone. It's barren.
Stock is low.
But one thing I did want to touch on was a time where stock was abundant.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a time back in, I think, the summer 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Costco, and they had a pallet of Pokemon cards.
Yep.
And it was tins that you can get. It had Miraidon and Koraidon on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one was a bigger tin that had 5 packs. The other one was a smaller tin with 4 packs.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 9 packs in a single selling unit.
In the set, yeah.
Yeah. And for retail at Costco, it was $39.99. So $40 for 9 packs. It's about, a little bit over $4 a pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get some right away because I was like, I don't even know what's in it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And so we passed by it that one day. We just, didn't think about it. But then, a month or two later down the line, back at that same Costco, it was still there. That same pallet was there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, it's no longer $39.99. It's now $29.99.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, maybe I might pull some. So I don't think I pulled it at that time. But we came back another month later. That same pallet was still there. And it was at that time where, Costco is trying to get rid of that pallet.
Yeah.
And
They
so
had the little, is it asterisk or something like that?
Yeah, the asterisk, so it wasn't going to get restocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was at a price that was ending in a 7 or 97.
Yes.
So it was definitely the last price point that they were going to sell it at.
Mm-hmm.
So it was down to $19.97.
Mm-hmm.
Same pack or same 2 tins.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 packs for $20,
Yeah.
which is just a little bit over $2 a pack.
Crazy.
And I was like, all right, I'm definitely buying it.
Yeah.
And so I picked up 10 the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I spent just, a little under $200 on these packs. And, I got 10 of these, so 10 times 9, so 90 packs.
Mm-hmm.
And we got them that day. I didn't open them, just, let it sit in a little corner I had.
Mm-hmm.
And another month went by, and it was still there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so literally no one wants these.
No one wanted them, yeah.
And so I texted Ami, and I was like, hey, pick a number 1, 2, 3. And usually whenever we do that, it's because we have decision paralysis. And so just by giving a number 1, 2, or 3, it lets us know what we're going to decide what we want to pick. But we're not giving any context to our partner of what it is.
Yeah, it takes away the weight of the decision, and it becomes either, in this case, a 33.33% chance of whatever the answer is, or a 50-50. Because normally it's a yes or no, 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. That's what it started as, 1 or 2. And as Chiggy said, it was mainly my decision paralysis. It was a solution that we came up with of just like, okay, well, 1 or 2. So then that way I wasn't thinking of, are we doing Mexican or are we doing Italian? It was just 1 or 2.
Yeah, just pick a number, 1 or 2.
There's no weight,
context.
no pressure, no context. Exactly.
Yeah. So I texted Ami. I was like, hey, pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. She goes, 3. And then I said, okay. And I didn't say anything about it.
Little did I know.
And then later on,
did I know?
I purchased the amount of units based on the number that she picked. 3, yeah. And it was based on 10 times of the number that she picked. Mm-hmm. So it was either going to be 10 units, 20 units, or 30 units. Mm-hmm. So she picked 3. I picked up 30 more units of that Pokemon tins. And I spent another $600 on Pokemon cards.
Y'all, when he brought it home, I said, what did you do? And his answer was, you decided. I said, excuse me? Hello?
Hey, they were still sitting there.
How dare thee?
So I went ahead and picked those up. So I had 40 total units, 9 packs each, 360 packs of Pokemon cards to open.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, hey, what am I going to do with all these packs? You know, there was going to be definitely a bunch of reprints.
Yeah.
And so I also had promo cards too.
Oh, yes.
Because they were tins. And I was like, maybe I can just give some away. You know, I'm pretty sure we got friends that want to collect or that have kids that want to collect.
Our friends' kids. Yes, we can give the bulk away for
and
sure.
So I gave away a bunch of promos to my friends' kids.
Yes.
You know, they loved it.
They were so excited.
But I was like, what am I going to do with these 360 packs?
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you can see on our channel, Bunso Bites, we do have a pack opening that comes out every day.
A pack a day.
And it's because of that surplus of Pokemon packs that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's my ode to me getting back into the hobby of collecting Pokemon cards.
Yep.
So from me watching streams of pack openings, this is my way of giving back, so to say. So I make shorts, a pack opening a day, and it's going to continue on for at least 360 days.
Yeah. I was about to say, we got to figure out what to do in the last 5 days.
No, actually, I bought sleeved Silver Tempest actually those sleeved Silver Tempest they did make it in the video, but they took the place of some packs that we messed up on.
I see.
Because you only get one chance to shoot everything
That's true.
correctly.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of mess ups, and those sleeve packs did replace those.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the 5 packs to make it a whole year,
Yeah.
I had a ETB of Twilight Masquerade.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first 5 packs in this year.
Gotcha.
And then the other 360s from those tins.
Your tins, yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen after the first year. Because we definitely still have Pokemon packs. We have a bunch of Journey Together in the other room.
I think we got Journey Together.
And then we have ETBs of packs that just been accumulating, so we can open that up too.
That's true.
We may have a year too where you're opening the packs.
Hey, I was about to say, please let us know in the comments how y'all think we should we continue with the daily pack openings, or do you guys want to see a live stream of it, maybe, possibly? Or I mean, we've done it before, we can do it again. Or if you guys want to see just a podcast episode like this of us opening, I don't know, it could be the Journey Together, it could be, I don't know, whatever we have. Just let us know. That'd be really interesting to see what you guys want to see. But I love the fact that from the time that we quote unquote started as kids, opening packs, collecting cards, looking at the art, looking at, those OG cards, to now, it still again goes back to the joy and the thrill of the chase, but also just the joy of Pokemon as a whole. And I mean, I obviously I see the shorts every day too, but it's like, it really is kind of this fun little, 30-second to a minute moment of just like, oh, are we gonna get anything? Yes, no, maybe so. You never know up until the very last second, and when you do, it's really, really nice. So
oh yeah,
that's always the fun part of Pokemon cards. And I hope that, yes, I think the game, or the hunt and thrill of getting cards is a little bit different. I think that Pokemon as a company has been identifying that, and as we've stated earlier, the Pokemon Center website has put in a lot of security measures in their attempts at limiting that, and it seems to be successful. I've seen some complaints online, but I haven't seen too many, because it has helped. Like you said, the last one was 5 hours long, which was that's significantly better than a minute. And obviously the more spread out, the more disseminated it is, then the more people can enjoy it and they can share it in it. So yeah, hopefully the Pokemon Company will continue to look for and find solutions that way. And who knows, maybe it's just a case of, although, I understand limiting how much you print, because then it makes it more valuable, but also it's just kind of like, maybe Pokemon just needs to take stock of how many consumers they have. If it really is that short in product, then maybe there needs to be a change in how much product there is. What is it? Supply and demand.
Yeah.
Economics 101. So, and I'm sure that they look at the numbers all the time, but, and they're making the changes as they see fit. So hopefully continuing on in a positive direction. Hopefully. I don't know. As a Pokemon fan, that's all I can hope for.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Chicky?
Not really. I do need to continue to edit more of these shorts, because it is actually a pretty daunting task to edit these small minute-long videos for of these pack home needs every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit behind, but at least I still have a couple of shorts coming out daily. So
yeah,
at least it's keeping me motivated really to continue editing these shorts as well as these podcast episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hopefully something comes out of it. If not, it's just a recollection of what I pulled for the entire year.
Yeah. And again, guys, it's something that we enjoy and we love. We want to share it with you guys. We want to give back in that way, and in the same way with this podcast. As much as, it would be great if it turned into something bigger and crazier, but also Chiggy and I just enjoy doing the podcast and being with each other. So that's all we can hope for. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let us know down below. Do you collect Pokemon cards? If you do, what is your favorite hit so far? Or what's the chase card that you're still trying to get? We look forward to reading you guys' comment below. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.